Hey, what's up YouTube? It's B. Today I'm going to do something kind of fun. I'm going to make an attempt to make some Greek yogurt. This is going to be, I'm not going to make the yogurt. The yogurt's already bought, but I'm going to make yogurt that I want to eat. This will be some mango Greek yogurt. I'm going to make it with some artificial sweetener, and hopefully, if everything goes well, it'll taste pretty good. So I'm going to document it, and we'll see how it actually turns out. So let's get started. A few things before we get started, okay? We got some Greek yogurt here. This is plain, fat-free Greek yogurt. I got the big container here. I think this has got 2 cups in it. We're not going to use anywhere near that much because I only have some 4 half-cup containers over here, which is the next thing you're going to need, some containers to keep your yogurt in, a scale, or a measuring cup. It depends on how you're going to be calculating your calories from your mango, which is the next thing you're going to need. You're going to need a mango. You want a nice firm one so it's a little soft, not quite like an avocado, but not hard like an apple, maybe kind of the texture of an orange. Sweetener, I'm using Apriva. You can use Splenda, you can use Sweet and Low, whatever you want to use. Get double what you think you're going to use, because we're going to use some to sweeten the yogurt with, and we're going to use some to make a kind of a syrup with the mango. And you're going to need butter. Now, this isn't margarine or anything like that. This is real unsalted butter, and we're only going to use a very small pat of it, so make sure you've got some butter. Now, we've got a pan. I'm using a non-stick pan. You don't have to. I just think it's less hassle to use a non-stick pan. And we're going to need a cutting board and a nice sharp knife that I use to cut butter, so it's got some butter on it. So that's what you're going to need. So first things first, we need to get into this mango. Now what I like to do is cut a very, very small piece of the top off, and that's just going to kind of let us get started. We're going to peel it. Well, let's cut the bottom off too so it doesn't roll everywhere. And we're going to take our knife and we're just going to kind of peel the outside. You can use a peeler if you want, but the skin's really thick and this doesn't take as much time. Let's get all that skin off. Alright, now, we're not going to use the skin for anything. You can dry it out and use it for something if you want to. Put it in your juicer, whatever you want to do with this stuff. Me personally, I don't use it. I wish I had a compost pile, but I don't, so garbage. Now, we're going to cut this guy up because I'm going to need to weigh it. According to the documentation that I'm using, 100 grams of mango is, I have to look at my notes, is 65 calories. So that's what I'm going on. So I'm going to cut this guy down. The mangoes are kind of hard to cut because they've got a kind of a pit or a seed. Not really a seed. It's just the hard part, like an apple kind of in the middle. So you have to kind of cut around that. You can't really core them. You got to be careful because they get kind of slimy. See, there's that seed, that core. You just kind of sit there and you don't want that. So if you actually get a piece like I just did that's got some of that on it, kind of cut that out. Because you don't want that. It doesn't taste good. It doesn't chew very well, and it's just gross. There's probably an easier way to do this. I honestly don't care. Not really worried about what the pieces look like. Kind of get an idea. You see the butt there where the stem was, and you see where I cut into the seed here. And then you can kind of feel where the good parts are and cut those off. You're gonna get to a point where you're tired of messing with it. Or you're just not getting any more meat off of it. And then chuck it. Here's our scale, and we're going to put our bowl in here, and we're going to zero that out. Alright, and make sure that that says 0. What this does is it lets us take into account the weight of the bowl, so we can put our mango in there and get an accurate measurement. Now, I went ahead and diced this up so that it's in some nice even pieces. It'll make it a lot easier to take out of the bowl if we need to get a more accurate weight. Fairly even pieces is important because we're going to put this in a saute pan in a minute. Should be enough. Now, let's Let's weigh it. Alright. And I'm pretty damn close to 100 grams there. So let's pull a little bit out and get us right at 100 grams. Awesome. There we go. So now we have 100 grams of diced mango. So we're warming up our nonstick skillet. We've got our butter in there. It's just starting to bubble, and we're going to go ahead and add our mango. Hopefully it won't sizzle too much. Be careful. Mango has a lot of water in it, and this is fat, and oil and water normally don't mix. So if it's too hot, it might pop up and get you. Make sure we get it all out of there. This is hard to do while you're holding a camera. Now we're not trying to brown it, so we don't want super, super high heat. What we're trying to do is more or less get the fruit to wilt a little bit, and we're going to add our sweetener. Ooh, we're going to add our sweetener and make kind of a syrup. And that's what we're going to use to flavor the yogurt with. So we're doing this. We don't want to brown it. If it starts to brown, it's probably too hot. We just want to make it nice and soft and tender and have a little bit of liquid on the bottom. So this will probably take 5 or 6 minutes. We're going to let this get started, and then I'll show you what it looks like. So our mangoes have had about 4 minutes now. They're starting to get nice and soft, and you can tell when you they'll change color a little bit. They won't be quite so bright anymore, and you can almost mush them with the spatula. It just goes right through them. That's when you know they're starting to get ready. And what we're going to do is we're going to take our sweetener, and what I've done is I've opened 4 packages of Splenda or Apriva in a little container, and we're just going to kind of nice and evenly just across the top. And we're going to let that get absorbed in the sorry, I got a little bit of shadow here. Let that get absorbed in the syrup that we're making, and you're going to see this kind of starts to liquefy a little bit. That's what we want. We want that syrup. So I'm going to let this work, and I'm just going to fold it nice and evenly for a couple more minutes, and then we'll pull it out and let it cool. Alright, we've got our mango that I pulled from the pan and put into this bowl to cool down. And we've got our yogurt sitting here, and there's our containers to put everything in, and there's some extra sweetener that you'll find out why we're going to need here in a moment. So, first thing we're going to do is we're going to take this mango, and I got a fork, and we're going to just kind of muddle it. We're not really pureeing it or mashing it or anything like that. We just want to make sure that we get as much of the juice and the yum yum goody out of here. Yeah, that's a technical term, yum yum goody, as we can. Alright, and we'll make sure that our fruit is all nice and consistent. We don't have big chunks and little chunks, so everything's kind of nice and consistent. So when you get a spoonful of yogurt, you get some mango in there too. Sorry, I'm kind of drunk with the camera here. Alright, that should be good enough. Now, tastes good. Now, the rest of this is really simple. We're either going to put this in here or this in here. It doesn't really matter. We'll probably do a half and half type thing. So, yeah. I don't know how I'm going to do this with one hand. I guess what we'll do is I'll just spoon it in like this. Alright. If you have a mixing bowl, go ahead and use a mixing bowl. I don't really have a mixing bowl at the moment. Not in my own house. My mixing bowl's in storage. This is what those doctors do when they have to do surgery through a camera. This is kind of weird. I need a cameraman. I'll be taking applications for cameramen if you're in the Houston area. Alright. So we got most of it in there. We'll add the rest in a minute. So we're going to sit here and we're just going to fold this in nice and easily. Don't recommend you use like a hand blender or anything like that. Just fold it in, fold it in, fold it in. And this is going to take a few minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and do this, and then I'll come back and show you the next step. Okay, so I've mixed this in really good. Now make sure you get all the syrup and all the bits out of here, because the syrup, like I said, this is stuff that's going to sweeten this for you. So here it is. Now what I would like you to do is give this a taste. Now it might be kind of bitter. If it's not quite sweet enough for you, that's why we have this extra sweetener. Add it 1 packet at a time, and I mean 1. It doesn't matter how bitter or how nasty you think it tastes. Add 1 packet at a time, because you can always add more. You can't take them back out, promise you. Now, I'm going to give it a taste and see what this tastes like. Yeah, it's nowhere near sweet enough for me. So I'm going to add 1, and I'm going to stir it up. So this is a total of 5 packets now. We're going to give this a taste. It's almost there. We're going to have one more. Alright, that's Splenda, or Priva sweetener packet number 6. And this should be just about right. Yeah, that's money in the bank right there. Alright, so there you go. We have mango fat-free Greek yogurt. I'm going to spoon this into these half-cup containers and stick it in the refrigerator. And I'll be taking it to work this week. So, let's bounce over here and check out the calorie count. Alright, so, pardon my horrible handwriting here. With 100 grams of mango, we used 1/4 tablespoon of butter and 2 cups of yogurt. Our yogurt has 1 cup serving, 130 calories, and 23 grams protein. So that's going to be 46 grams protein and 260 calories. So, add that up, and that's 350, and that's easy, 46 protein. Okay, divide that by 4, and that gives us 87.5 and 10 grams of protein per. So there we go. 87 calories and 10 grams of protein per 1/2 cup. There you go. 87.5 grams. 87.5 calories. And dude, I was like high when I shot that. Not literally. Because it's not 10 grams of protein, it's 11.5 grams of protein per serving, which is pretty good. It's actually a lot lighter than the stuff you buy prepackaged. A lot of that has to do with the calories coming from the fruit. I use fresh fruit, and mango's not a very sweet fruit, so there's not a lot of sugar. When you do this, and you can use any fruit you want to. I used to use frozen fruit, but a lot of frozen fruits have sugar added, so be careful when you use the frozen fruits. But the more sugar, the higher that calorie count is going to be. So that's why it came out as low as it did. But you know, it's still 11.5 grams of protein. It's an awesome snack, especially for a half of a cup. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoy this. I hope you guys try it out. Post your own recipes if you try some other stuff, or if you just don't like mango and you want to tell me so. Anyway, make sure you thumbs up, don't thumbs down, subscribe, tell your friends, and come back and see us. Take care, guys.